Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today we're going to talk about monosynaptic reflexes and with their clinical significance. First of all, I shall talk about and illustrate you with some kind of simple diagram that's monosynaptic reflexes. You can find out there is some kind of muscle spindles. These muscle spindles play an important role about providing information about the muscle tension and the length. The neuropathologists use special hammers for diagnosing some kind of neurological status of the patients by beating the muscle itself and the tendon. By this way, they can assess some kind of neurological status of the patient. When the neuropathologists beat with their hammer in the muscle tendon or muscle itself, there's muscle spindles generate some kind of information and action potential, of course, and they can carry the 1A fibers carry this information into the spinal cord, more specifically to the gray matter. In the gray matter, they can synapses with alpha motor neurons. These motor neurons, we call them as the lower motor neurons. According to the changing the length of the muscle, the alpha motor neurons try to react by contracting this muscle. This is such kind of reflex you can find outside. This is monosynaptic reflexes. Okay. And the next information about this reflex, in fact, there is a simple illustration for you about the monosynaptic reflexes. However, there is some kind of another action take place simultaneously with the contraction of this muscle. There is some kind of muscle types, muscle groups, of course. There is flexors and extensors. There is antagonist muscles, and when you flex your arm, this extensor has to reflex. Without this action, you couldn't act this kind of actions. Okay, and I can give you some kind of additional information by this illustration. Look at that carefully. And this reflex is the same with this, okay? And some kind of beating this tendon or muscle itself and generating the action potential in the muscle spindles and carrying information via the 1F fibers and analyzing, and it can stimulate the alpha motor neurons to contract this muscle. However, at the same time, another opposite muscles have to relax. How can it occur? How can it take place? I know now I'm going to explain you by this illustration. And when the 1A fibers carries information to the gray matter, they not only synapse with alpha motor neurons. At the time, they try to synapse with some kind of another neurons that connect with this spinal segment with another spinal segment that are responsible for innervating antagonist muscles. You can find out there is another neuron in a red color synapse with 1A fiber, and it can carry information into another spinal cord segment, more specifically Renshaw neurons. The Renshaw neurons play an important role inhibiting the alpha motor neurons. This synapse carries information to the Renshaw neuron, and Renshaw neuron inhibit these alpha motor neurons. This alpha motor neuron's function is contracting this antagonist muscle. However, by stimulating Renshaw neurons, we can inhibit its function. As a result, you can find out there is a relaxation of the antagonist muscle. It can facilitate us to watch some kind of ankle jack reflexes or knee jack reflexes like that. Okay, and that's the physiology, and this physiology help you to analyze and understand the basic concept of this kind of monosynaptic reflex, and we should use it in clinical considerations. Yeah, in clinical practice, with neuropathologists always use with their special hammer by stimuli monosynaptic reflexes. There are graded scale available in neurology, and we can assess this kind of monosynaptic reflex grade from 0 to 4 plus. Okay, 0 means that there is no any reflection, and 4 plus means that there is increased monosynaptic reflex. Please look at there, and between 0 and 1 grade, 1 scale, we call them a decreased reflex when we see this kind of condition. We always, most often we can observe this kind of situation when the alpha motor neurons in the spinal cord damaged. Okay? There is a mnemonic for you, and there is decreasing, this low levels, okay, decreasing, and lower motor neuron lesion. Okay, there is always try to think about when there is some kind of slowly and decreased reflex, monosynaptic reflex. Please think about the spinal cord lesions. And when you, as a neuropathologist, with your hammer, it can be tendon or muscle itself, you couldn't see it, or only merely monosynaptic reflex you can find out there. And at the time, please think about the lesion of the synaptic alpha motor neurons. And the second one is increased reflex between the 3 and 4 plus scale. We have to think about the lesion of the upper motor neurons. You know, the bat cells located in the precentralis gyrus, and with their action, they control our movements, flexion, extension, and taking something, putting something, and closing, and something like that. And why the reflex increased in the upper motor neuron lesions? You know, the main function of the upper motor neurons, in addition to controlling our actions, they suppress the action of the spinal alpha motor neurons. You know, the loss of inhibitory neurons cause the overactivity of the spinal cord neurons. As a result, you can see there is increased reflex. As a neuropathologist, when you see the increased reflex in the scale 3 and 4 plus, between the 3 and 4 plus, please look at think about the upper motor neuron lesion. There is a mnemonic for you to remember clearly and simply, and there is upper motor neurons, the upper motor neurons, and the increasing of the reflex. This is my first video lessons in English. I know that nothing is so perfect at the first time. If you find out some kind of grammatical or some kind of pronunciation errors, please write down me. And this my Telegram nickname. Necessity is curable. Necessity is curable. By preparing this video lesson, I'm not going to show my English ability or medical knowledge. I'm going to stimulate other medical students in Uzbekistan to prepare this kind of video lessons in English. Because by preparing this kind of video lessons in English, we try to compete with other native speakers, okay? With other native speaker medical students. The competition between this healthy competition between the students around the world can cause its positive effect by increasing the level of medical knowledge, not only in Uzbekistan but around the world. Thanks for watching and listening.